Well. Here we are. The day before Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about coyotes. Yeah, coyotes are coming into the mix today. We're also going to talk about thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are coming in as well. We're going to look at a crazy family that's walking around in Christmas pajamas 2 days before Thanksgiving all around Lexington. Kind of silly. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're also going to identify why exactly it is I can barely move my arms today. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get a little visit from Les Brown. I believe Les Brown is going to stop by today. He's going to share some time with us here on the stage, which I'm super excited about. And there might be an appearance by my son Fisher and quite possibly my daughter Meredith. I'm not sure. All that and more on today's episode of GM3X. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you're here. And then now is time to rise and grind. Welcome to GM3X. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to eight, and the founder of the 800% Elite Club. I hope you're ready for motivation, education, inspiration, celebrity interviews, and thought-provoking conversations, because it's 5:30 a.m. and it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, today is, what is today? Today is Wednesday. That's right. Today is Wednesday, aka CMA Day. That's right. Carter Myers Automotive Group. Every Wednesday for the last, 3 or 4 years now, I've had the opportunity to work. What's up, Raquel? I was wearing your hoodie yesterday. I'm not wearing your hoodie today, but I was wearing it yesterday. But every Wednesday, I get the opportunity to work with the Carter Myers Automotive Group and have for like the last 4 years. They're just an amazing group of superhumans. And so Wednesday has been labeled CMA Day because for a big chunk of my life, that's what I do on Wednesdays, right? Wednesday mornings, CMA Day, and that is translated to the rest of you. So whether you wanted to be or not, whether that was important to you or not, you got roped in to the Carter Myers Automotive Group. They really are an amazing organization out of Virginia, 23 dealerships, all kinds of opportunities. If you're ever looking for a job, you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, it's a great opportunity across the board. So that's enough about that. But today is Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. So I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky. It's a little cold outside. A buddy of mine, Tyler Hamilton, him and his wife came in yesterday, and he was asking me if I wanted to go for a run with him this morning. And I made it very, very clear to him. Well, last night he asked me if I wanted to go on a run with him today. And I made it very, very, very clear that is not happening. That I am not going out there and running in 27-degree temperatures. I'm sorry. I know you're supposed to be tough and you're supposed to tough it out and you got to do all the tough things and so on and so forth. And that's just not me, dude. I am not 27-degree material. That's not how I was built. I am a tropical being. I like it hot. All right? So we can run inside or we can ride the Peloton. We can do those things. I'm not saying we ain't going to work out. I'm not running outside. That's not happening here in Lexington, Kentucky, right? But here we are the day before Thanksgiving. That's good, Tina. So here we are the day before Thanksgiving, an awesome holiday where we all get together and feast, right? And super excited. The festivities have already begun. So yesterday was an interesting day. Now, I got to back up just a little bit. Hold on. Today's show is going to be interesting, and I'll explain why here in a second. So, I don't know if I talked about it on this show or not, uh, but recently I won a ticket to compete on a new show that Grant Cardone and his organization is producing with the people that produced Undercover Billionaire. They're producing this show called The Great American Speak Off, I believe is what they're calling it, The Great American Speak Off. And it's like American Idol or America's Got Talent, but for speakers, right? And so, it was interesting. It was all day this past Saturday. There was 6,000 people total that auditioned across 3 different cities, and then they had virtual auditions. And the audition was you had to do a 1 minute. You had to speak in 1 minute, right? 1 minute little keynote. And so I did a 1 minute thing, and then that took you through to round 2 if you made that. So I made it to round 2, and in round 2 you had 2 minutes, right? You had 2 minutes to speak. So I did a 2 minute thing, and then out of that they narrowed it down and they picked 20, 25 people from each location for 100 people total to go be on this show, right? And so I've made it to the semifinals. I'm one of the 100 people that will meet in Miami in a few weeks, and we will compete in the Great Speak Off. Now, I just thought and assumed that they would pick like a great speaker, and then you would work on your keynote speech, and then you would deliver your keynote speech, and then they would pick the best keynote speeches, and those people go through, right? Because the winners, the top 3 out of the 100, they go to Las Vegas and speak on a stage in Las Vegas in front of 30,000 people. So I'm sharing this with you because I made it to the semifinals, and that the semifinals are happening in the middle of December. And so right after I made it to the semifinals, I was like, wow. And I found out there's going to be cameras like everywhere. I was like, all right, Glenn, I've been working out, but I've also been eating whatever the heck I want to eat. And, there's a little extra right here around the midsection. And there's going to be cameras everywhere. And potentially millions of eyeballs. I was like, oh, man, I should probably be in a little bit better shape. Do you ever do that? Do you know there's something you should be doing, right? You've been telling yourself you should be taking care of it, but you don't take care of it. But then all of a sudden you realize you're going to get exposed. Right? I'm like, there's going to be lots of cameras. I got this little couple extra 16 pounds right here that I need to get rid of, right? And so I decided, I was like, okay, I gotta lose these 16 pounds, and I got like 25 days to do it, but I gotta do it healthily. I'm not just gonna starve myself, right? And so I was talking to these young bucks because they're, they all work out every day, and they're all ripped and all this stuff. And I said, can you get 16 pounds off me in 20 something days? And they're like, yeah, we can do it, but you got to completely change your diet. And they took me into the gym yesterday.
I'm here with the boys.
Right. They took me down there. They just basically just beat me up. They beat me up. What they did. They had me do 45 minutes of cardio. And then they went in.
You're pushing on
the
it.
workout started. The workout started after 45 minutes of cardio. And they went in there and they just tore me up, dude. And I can barely feel my arms today. But I share all that with you because I didn't eat any sugar I haven't had any sugar the last 2 days either. So no sugar the last 2 days. And then that workout right there And I got to be honest with you, man. Like yesterday, I was walking around the house like salivating for some dang sugar. And like my energy level was different, right? I drink tons of water, Rick, like tons. I've always drank tons of water, right? But I was salivating like DDT, like full on. I have a problem when it comes to sugar. You ever realize that? You ever realize something in your life? You're like, I actually have a problem. Like I was like, I want a freaking bowl of cereal. You know how in Lion King, they're like, I got to have a wildebeest. Like, that's how I was like, I got to have some sugar. Give me some candy. Give me something. And I realized like, I don't eat anything other than like fast food and candy. That's my entire diet. Fast food and sugar, man. Like, golly. And so, I mean, I wanted it so bad. It was crazy, but I made it through. Yesterday. But this morning I slept through my alarm. I slept in an hour and 10 minutes. I normally wake up at 3:20 every morning. I didn't get up till 4:30 today. Right? Like last night was fun. Last night we were out in my wife put us all in matching pajamas. Right? So the Hamiltons are here. So we went out to Five Below. There's a place we go called Five Below, and all the kids buy little $5 gifts, and then we do the little white elephant exchange where you can steal the other person's present and so on and so forth, right? All those things. And so we go to Five Below, we do the white elephant thing. My wife put together these games where all the kids were playing like Minute to Win It and all that stuff for all this candy. Right here I am on a I can't eat sugar, and my wife, being the loving, caring, amazing, supportive woman that she is, she literally set up like 18 feet of banquet tables covered in candy. And then she was asking me to help. Oakland. You had to take a straw and like you had to take the straw and use it to pick up M&Ms. And Oakland couldn't do it. So here I am with a straw 6 inches out of my mouth. There's M&Ms 6 inches away, and I'm having to suck up the M&Ms onto the straw and put them into the bowl. And I'm like, this is absolute torture. My wife planned this months ahead of time. That's Leslie Lundy for you, man. But her and JoJo put this whole thing together, right? They put this whole thing together. They do it every year. They're lifelong friends. They've been friends since they were children, and it's just a tradition that they have, right? And it's a really cool thing. It's a really cool tradition. It's really powerful, right? That they come together that way. But went to bed normal time last night, and this morning, dude, woke up an hour and 20 minutes late. Now, when Glenn Lundy wakes up an hour and 20 minutes late, there's a whole chain of effect. There's some non-negotiables, and then there's a couple negotiables, right? So when I wake up an hour and 20 minutes late, it's rare that I wake up late, but dude, between the workout yesterday and the no sugar and the whatever, I guess it just created this like comatose concoction. I think that's what it did. Right, it created this comatose concoction, and so I slept through. So when you're me and you wake up a little bit late, because my morning routine's dialed to the minute. Every minute is invested, right? So we got to do our gratitude. We got our Bible study. We've got our scrolls. We've got thought and time, reflection. We've got sending encouraging messages. We've got all gratitude goals. All of those things. There's all those different pieces that got to get done when you wake up a little, and then then I got to get in the truck, and then I got to drive to the studio, or I get to drive to the studio and get to do this show with you. And so this morning, woke up a little late, and I'm like, okay, boom, got to get to do the gratitude and goals. We got time with that. Okay, we got the scrolls. All right, we'll listen to the Bible. We listen to the Bible on the way to the truck versus normally, or on the way here in the truck versus normally writing those things down, and then it's a matter of the show. And on today's show, you kind of have to sacrifice a little bit of production to be able to get a good show, or you do a whole lot of production and you don't get a good content show. And so what I wanted to do today is just make sure that we had a great conversation and good content, and sacrifice some of the bells and whistles, if that's okay. And I really want to have a conversation around, these best laid plans. We have all these things planned out for ourselves and for our lives. But how do we react when things don't go as planned? How to react when we think we can do something like lose a few pounds, and then we ultimately find out that we're addicted to sugar, like really, really bad. And how do we react when, how do we react when we have a morning routine that is dialed from 3:20 a.m. till 6:30, and we sleep in for an hour and 20 minutes? Or how do we react when we have traditions planned out, or we have expectations from someone that we love or someone that we care about, and then things just simply don't go as planned? They surprise us. They say something we never thought they'd say, or they do something that we never thought they would do. So I want to have that conversation today, because we're in this series called Meanwhile at the Lundys. And I have a son named Fisher. And my son Fisher, who is blossoming into quite the amazing young man, my son Fisher is interesting in the fact that my son was God made him a little bit different than all the rest of my kids. God gave Fisher fear. None of my other kids have fear. Now, he's also a ladies' man. He loves all the ladies. But he's fear, right? Like the kid's afraid of coyotes, the kid's afraid of thunder, the kid's afraid of heights, like the kid's afraid of everything. And so we're in this series, and as we're looking at life through the eyes of our children and taking the perspective of life through children, I thought today would be a great time for us to look at Fisher and at the same time take a look at ourselves and say, okay, what can we learn from this young man on how we react when things don't go as planned, right? Even though we had the best laid plans. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to dive into that a little bit here today. Before we do, you know what we got to do, though. Actually, let's go Connor Price.
100 grams.
Feeling so tall, I could give a high five to the pilot. Yeah, family tight, I keep small circle like island. Whoa, inbox full of contracts, I sign with a stylist. Yeah, blue faces blowing up like violet. Talk about the things they're gonna say when they see me, and when they see me, they just dap me up and say good to meet me. I keep it going, flowing over this and make it look easy. Easy for me to say I do this every day of the week. I'm eager to be the one they talk about when all said and done with it. I'm the feature that they want, but then they don't when I come with it. I'm a scene, still a seat, filler, blow up the numbers, and I ain't leaving no crumbs, so you know when I'm done with it. I'm a new school vibe with an old soul, oh so great. Stay paid by the boatload, don't go chasing away from a rowboat. Blow smoke right through the face of the ozone. Oh no, I got the bag, I'm back to just double it. I'm about to pop the top, I've been bubbling. They want the spot, but I do not cut them in. They tryna plot my drop, they been huddling. Feeling so tall, I could give a high five to the pilot. Yeah, family tight, I keep small circle like island. Whoa, inbox full of contracts, I sign with a stylist. Yeah, blue faces blowing up
yo,
like violet.
I know a lot of people praying for my downfall, but the only thing that I'll be down for is being top 5, but like down 4. I'm down to earth like the ground floor, but I've been flying so long, I tend to ask people, what's the ground for? Man, I'm only headed up, see my flow volcanic, it's the fire I erupt. Heard the fans getting rowdy cause they haven't had enough. You know I'm running the city, you just was running out of luck. Yeah, I said that with my chest. I flow hard, it's no wonder they easily impressed. I'm so far, but I'm always coming back with something fresh. I never rest, where you'll never catch this ego in a nest. I invest my time in a booth, I find a piece. I used to piece the boom in my mind. My ex knows this, let me expose this. She left cause she don't wanna be with an explosive. Man, I'm just feeling so tall I could give a high five to the pilot. Yeah, family tight, I keep small circle like island. Whoa, inbox full of contracts I signed with a stylist. Yeah, blue faces blowing up like violet.
All right, we just ended up listening to the whole song. I'm supposed to like talk over the song. Supposed to say good morning to all y'all during the song. We're supposed to do some dancing during the song. That's what we normally do. But you know, sometimes the best laid plans don't work out that way. So hit the share button, share this out into the clubhouse streets. And also, while you're here, make sure you grab a Morning 5 planner. Oh, where's all that sound coming from? I didn't know she had all that sound in there. Make sure you grab a Morning 5 planner, whether you get a purple one or you're a black one. Today's the last day to order them. If you would like me to sign the inside cover, if you would like me to send you a powerful message, if you would like that to happen, then you need to order it today. Go to morning5planner.com. Otherwise, they'll be on sale tomorrow, Black Friday, 20% off. So you can wait for 20% off or you can buy one today. Either way, you need to make sure you go get you one. GM3X. I am your host, Glenn Lundy.
We must begin to look at what are the things that we can do that would put us on some firm footing in life, that will enable us to do some things and use some powers that we have, that many of us go through life never ever discovering that we have those things going for us. And part of that, I believe, is knowing what it is your life worth. What is it that gives your life a sense of meaning and purpose? Because once you find that, it puts you in your power place. See, if you know what your life work is, I encourage you to start working on it. If you can't do it all at one time, do just a little bit of it. And if you don't know what it is that you showed up to do, if you don't know why you're here, I encourage you to find out what your purpose is here. What is the meaning of your life? And I say to you that if you begin to take a conscious effort to find out what it is that you're supposed to do, I say that it can literally save your life. I said that it can literally save your life. See, when you're going someplace and you already know how much you're going to make, you already know how far you can go, you're in a dead-end position. It erodes your self-esteem. It lowers your sense of yourself. It creates an inner turmoil. It creates an emptiness in you. So I say that your life is worth finding what it is that you're supposed to do. Do find out what your work is and hold on to it and don't let your dream go. Don't let it go. See, and here's something else I want you to begin to look at. Why is it that most people don't pursue their dreams or don't do better than what they're doing if they're capable of doing it? I think that many of us don't go the next step because we don't know what to do yet. And I say that the reason that we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us and we don't believe that we deserve it. So here's what I'm suggesting. How much time do you spend working on you? How much time do you spend every day working on your dream? In the last 90 days, how many books have you read? In the last year, what new skill or knowledge have you acquired? What kind of investment have you made in you? So I'm saying that as you begin to look at where you want to go, if you want to make it today, and things are changing so fast you have to literally run to stand still, I'm saying that you've got to make some conscious effort to begin to work to develop you. Here's something else. Most people are not living their dreams because of fear, ladies and gentlemen. Fear, limited vision, and lack of self-esteem is what keep most people doing things they don't want to do. The same reason that people stay in relationships where they're abused or they're unhappy or it's unfulfilling. They can't see themselves beyond that relationship. They can't see themselves enjoying life without that person. They think that this is all that they can do. The same reason that people get stuck at a certain level in life. They can't see things being better for them. And they think that this is it and this is all they deserve. This is all they've ever seen. It's been passed on to them. And they think that this is it for them. Fear is the most subtle and destructive of all human diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can age you. Fear, ladies and gentlemen, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you. And it seemed like you're in a hypnotic spell. And I ask you a question, what is the benefit? What's the benefit of allowing fear to hold you back? What's the benefit of giving up on yourself, of not stepping out on life and taking life on? What is the benefit for you? What's the plus in that? It's one of the things I had to ask myself. So I didn't want to make any mistakes. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted to be perfect the first time I did something. It's not going to happen. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to hurt some folks' feelings. You're going to create some enemies whenever you decide that you want to begin to take life on. You've got to ask yourself, how long am I going to allow this to hold me back? It said, fear is false evidence appearing real. That is an illusion that we create in our mind. It is a state of mind that can be changed. So let's look at how we can begin to take some steps to restructure that fear, to begin to expand our visions of ourselves, to begin to increase our self-esteem. Webster said that self-esteem means confidence and satisfaction in oneself. Look at your life right now. Whatever you've done up to this point in time, your life is working. Whatever you have produced, it came out of you as a result of the kind of person that you have become.
Sorry about that. There we go. Les Brown said right there, right? It's about self, right? It's the belief that we have in ourselves. But what if that's not there? Like, what if you don't have that right now? What if you don't have confidence in yourself? What if the self-esteem is not there, right? And the fears are real. What if you can have the best laid plans? You're like, okay, I got it, Les. I got it. I got it, man. I'm going to face my fears. You're right. Fear is the enemy. You're right. Fear is keeping me from all the things. You're right, Les. You're right. And I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to get after it. And then tomorrow comes and things don't go as planned. Then what? Because it all sounds nice on paper. And I know Les Brown. Les Brown's a dear friend of mine. He's an incredible dude. Incredible dude. He has overcome so much. And he is so strong and he is so confident. But what if you're not? my son Fisher has something I think that he can teach us all for these exact situations. You see, we have a tradition. We have a tradition at my house, which I love traditions, right? Traditions are dope. Ways to consistently tie people together. And so we have a tradition at my house. And the tradition is that every single night before we go to bed, my family gets around. We sit around on the couch. And everybody says one thing that they're grateful for from that day. And then each kid has a day of the week, and they sit in the middle of the room, and all of my other children pour into them and tell them one thing they love about them. Now, whoever's in the center of the room that receives the love abouts is also, what's up, Mike Romano, is also responsible for saying the prayer before we go to bed. And so every night, whoever's in the middle will say, okay, I'm getting ready to do the prayer. Actually, we do this. Open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, put them in your lap. That's how we get all the kids to put their hands in their lap so they can pray together. All right, a little tippity tip in case you need help with that. And so we do that. And then the child that's in the middle will ask for prayer requests. And Willow will say, yeah, will you please pray for all of the, all of the people that are battling the flu right now. And, Savannah might say, oh yeah, can you pray for my friend? She's dealing with this, so on and so forth. And Leslie, say, yeah, can you pray for this? And so on and so forth. So everybody drops a prayer request on the kid in the middle so they can add that to their prayers. And Fisher always raises his hand. He raises his hand big every time. Every single night. He raises his hand big. I have a prayer request. We say, okay, Fisher, what is it, man? What's the prayer request? And Fisher says, will you please pray for good dreams? He says, will you please pray for good dreams? And so every night, whoever's in the middle says the prayer, and God, please help with the healing of this person, and please help with this, and please help with that. And God, if you would, please give all of us good dreams. And see, the reason Fisher prays for good dreams is he's built with a seed of fear. Like you said earlier, he's super scared of like coyotes because they make the sounds far off in the distance. Never seen a coyote. Has no reason to be afraid of coyotes, but he's got a fear of coyotes. He also has a fear of, thunder. If he hears any amount of thunder anywhere off in the distance, the kid will go running into the house. He also has a fear of like heights, to where when he was little, I could barely pick him up. Like most of the kids, I'll pick him up over my head. But this kid, he would freak out when I would lift him like above shoulder height. He would freak out. And he also was always fearful that he's going to have bad dreams. Not that he has a bunch of nightmares or anything like that. It's just something he's scared about. And so Fisher is fearful of all of these things. And I think that maybe you and I are also fearful of many things, right? Me personally, I'm like, how am I going to look on that camera with this extra 16 pounds? And I know some of it's silly and irrational, man. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, like in great shape for 44 years old. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, we all have our things, right? But something that my son does really well that I want to challenge you to do. If you have fears in your life, Maybe you don't have the self-confidence that Les talks about to boldly and proudly proclaim what's yours. Maybe you don't have that. And if that is the case, then I want you to do what Fisher does, which is I just want you to pretend to be brave. Like, just pretend. You don't have to actually be brave. Just pretend to be brave. See, Fisher pretends to be brave. Whenever he's terrified of something, he'll just pretend that he's brave, and he'll lean into it. And I want you to do the same. If you're terrified of something, just pretend. Pretend like you're brave. Pretend like you're strong. Pretend like you're confident, right? Just pretend. And maybe through that pretending, right? Maybe if you just pretend on the outside, maybe you can find the strength to do it. You can find the strength to do it, and that pretending can become your reality. Because listen, here's the thing in life. We can have a roadmap of what we think is going to happen, and we can have the best laid plans of the actions that we're going to take, and we can set our goals and have our dreams. We can do all of those things. But most likely, life is going to get in the way, either in some way from something on the outside, or in other ways on something on the inside. You know, we can have the best laid plans in our relationships, the best laid plans in our careers, best laid plans when it comes to our finances, best laid plans for our fitness, best laid plans when it comes to our faith and our experience with that, right? We can have all the best laid plans. But just like today, when I slept in an extra hour and 20 minutes, or when a relationship falls apart, or when you lose that job that you thought you were going to have forever, when those things come into play, we kind of have two options. And option number one is to retreat and go into a place of fear or worry or concern or lack that could literally debilitate us. Or we could just pretend that this is exactly the way it was supposed to be. And through that pretending, we can muster up the courage and the bravery required to just continue taking that next step. Just like my son Fisher does. He's fearful, he's scared, but he just pretends to be brave. And through his pretending, he's able to overcome many of those obstacles. And I think you and I can too. Our ability to imagine, our ability to pretend, that's something that was put in us from the moment we were born. It is part of our seed. It is part of our spirit. It is a spiritual experience when you pretend, when you close your eyes and act as though you're something that you are not yet. And every time you do, I believe it takes you one step closer to remembering who you are. A child of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And that God made you to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And though there will be obstacles and trials along the way, I personally believe in you. I do. I love you as my brother and my sister in Christ. I truly love you. If nobody's told you that yet today, let me be the first. And it is out of love that I challenge you to continue to go out into the world. Go out into the world and pretend to be brave until you are, and achieve the highest levels of achievement that you can possibly imagine. Does that sound fair? Fair enough. All right, listen, we're going to head over to Clubhouse. We're going to talk about the meanwhile at some other people's houses. This is what's going on over in the Lundy house. I want to know what's going on over in your house. So we're going to talk about those things over on Clubhouse. If you're live, if you're watching on replay, you can always check out Clubhouse. Breakfast with Champions. We're there until 1 o'clock Eastern time, so you can always go check that out over there if you want. If you're catching that outside of that, I will be back tomorrow morning. We'll be here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's Thanksgiving. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll plan on being here. Maybe I won't. Have a great day. Let's go.
Good morning. On my feet before the sunrise. Stepped into my greatness, feeling powerful and energized. Thankful to be alive. Hashtag blessed. Write my mission, vision, values, and my gratitude list. I'm building up momentum. I'm making good decisions. I rise, I grind, I get it. Ain't no doubt that I'm committed. Cause who really loses if I don't win? Can't cheat the grind, only get what you put in. So I'm mastering my mentals. I'm focused on my physical. I'm developing spiritually and manifesting miracles. I'm gonna get it started, have a party in the morning, and I'ma wake the world is so alarming. I hashtag rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Good morning, don't stop. Good morning, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop. Get it, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop. Good morning, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop. Get it, get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Let's go, let's get it. Let's go, let's go. Hashtag rise and grind. I'm up like a rooster about my future. Better get used to the routine. I ain't sleep, I'm living the dream. Feeling like I can do anything. Cause this is God's plan. I wake up, I thank the man. Brush my teeth and wash my hands. Then I get back to the grind. Got victory on my mind. Success and dollar signs. Now open all the blinds so they can't block my shine. Cause I am the light. Amen. Going platinum with this anthem for the AM. It take passion, massive action, dedication. We the champions, so it's a celebration. This is our time and that's for sure. Every day we grinding, that's for sure. If you's a hitter like Josh, oh, lock in with Glenn and tell a friend and let him know. We hashtag rise and grind.